right? And so often when we're going through, you know, people who come to us want to come to us and they want to say, oh, let me just give you the scripture. Let me just give you this word. You know, don't nobody want to hear you talking about no scripture when they feeling like they dying.
Yeah, come on.
You know, they going through
Right.
suffering, and you walking up talking about, let me share this scripture with you.
Right.
You know, quoting scripture. And this is not that's not the time for Bible study.
Yes, yes.
You know, it ain't the time for Bible study. And so this text, we learned something very, very valuable in it that, you know, I think even Mother White was saying that, you know, she's learning how to pray. You don't have to pray about everything, she said. You know, and so when we're in the session, we were talking about that. Sometimes when a brother or sister is going through, that ain't even the time for you to walk up and say, let's pray.
Right.
It just ain't the time. And so, but we find that there's something even bigger. And sometimes we want, you know, we just want God to do a miracle.
That's
we
right.
just got one, you know, to do a miracle.
Yes,
God said,
yes.
I'm trying to do something, but I'm trying to do it through relationship with you and those that you're in relationship with. And so, we went through this, and then I thought about it, and it's like, wow, Lord, this is pretty big, you know. Why it is that you want unity in the body, why it is you want us to be one. Because we talk about it, but we really don't know the effects. And maybe after we talk about this a little bit, you'll be able to reflect back and say, wow, that happened to me too. Okay. You know, Sister Charlene said my sister came over yesterday. She did just out the blue. She just like, oh, I just dropped by, just thought I'd come see you. And she seen the truck out there. And we start talking, we start kind of reminiscing on some things. And it was amazing that even in what we were reminiscing on and what she was sharing with me, it showed up again. This lesson showed up again. You know, and she just stopped by. And I'm like, God, there it is again. So I began to share with her this lesson, and so she started to, you know, because she's going through, right? I mean, she's went from taking care of my mom to taking care of my aunt, right? My aunt's a handful. You know my mom's a handful. My aunt's a double handful. And, you know, even as she began to talk and share what she was going through, she just began to cry. You know, while she was out there, she just began to cry, to let the tears out, just because of what she was dealing with. You know, and we were able to embrace, we were able to just share. You know, not quoting scripture, but just share. So listen to this and see if it blesses you the way it blessed me. So it says, I'm going to read, I gave you the sheet, but I'm going to read Acts 14, 19 through 21. Actually, Minister Stewart's reading. He's supposed to be reading that. I mean, it's more. This, somebody else need?
I don't think he's one.
Acts 14.
Okay. Acts 14, 19 to 21. But Jews arrived from Antioch and Iconium. Everybody please stand, by the way.
14.
I'm sorry,
14, 19. Is that where you chapter 14?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Acts 14, 19 through 21. But Jews arrived from Antioch and Iconium, and having won over the crowds, they stoned Paul and dragged him out of the city, thinking he was dead. But the disciples formed a circle around him, and he got up and went back into the city. And the next day he went on with Barnabas to Derbe. They preached the good news to that city and made many disciples. They returned to Lystra and to Iconium and to Antioch.
Okay. So, yeah, see, so Now watch this. This just blessed my soul. Because we can get, we've been talking about tradition and we've been talking about religion and all that. We can get real religious with stuff, right? And so, in Pastor Fryer's, introduction, he goes, our challenges may have similarities, yet there is a uniqueness due to our psychological, personality, and experiential differences. However, we need each other's support. This is highlighted in the selected text. That's kind of the crust of where we're at. Is that here we see in this text that Paul is doing what? He's doing the work of the Lord. He's just preaching the gospel. He's preaching the gospel, but he's in a city and he gets stoned.
That's
Yeah. And the question is like, so how many of you ever felt like you've been stoned? Your own unique way. Maybe something on the job, maybe something in your family, maybe just what you're going through. You feel like you've been stoned. The deal here is that he was actually stoned. You know how people can get excited about what they're doing to you? They can't they? They can have a smile when they're stoning you. Can you imagine these people in this city? One of the unique things about this text is that typically they would not stone a person in the city. They would take them outside the city to stone them.
Right.
They would not stone them in the city. They take them outside. But these people were so excited and so fired up about stoning Paul.
Come on now. Come on.
That they did it in the city.
My good.
How many times has somebody been stoned in the church?
Come on now.
But in the city. And he's in the city and he's being stoned. The other unique thing in this text is that people get excited when they think they've taken you out. Don't they?
Yeah.
Or they think they've accomplished their mission. Right? They good. So what do they do with him after they thought they accomplished his mission? Because they said as though he was dead. They took him and they dragged him out of the city.
Wow.
Now, this is the part that just blessed my soul. Me and Jerry were talking about it. And it was like, nothing religious happened here. Right? We can't find in the text anybody calling on God to bring down fire and do all this stuff, can we?
No.
We can't even find in the text anybody saying, God, get them.
No.
Can we?
No.
But there is something unique in this text. Because they took him out the city. The text doesn't even tell us that a miracle took place. It don't tell us that a miracle took place. But it does, again, tell us something very unique that did take place. And it lends itself to what Sister Charlene was saying, and what Mother White was saying, and what we're hearing in testimonies. What I've seen Sister Charlene doing with Sister Kathy, it lends itself to the text. And that's why I feel like God was like, we need to do it now and not do the prayer circle, because we need to do it now because illustration is taking place. But we need the contextual basis to recognize the illustration. Okay? And so, and in it, so he's been stoned, he's like dead, and they bring him out. They bring him out of the city. Now, if you look at this thing, you see Brother Jerry said that, stoned represents painful experiences.
Okay.
Injuries or wounds in life. Okay? Painful experiences, right? You can be going through something with a loved one and it's painful. It's a painful experience. You can go through a divorce and it's a painful experience. You can go through a separation. It's a painful experience, right?
Yes.
And so you can, I liken it to a stone. You could have lost a loved one. Painful experience. You could want to be with a loved one, supporting them, and you can't be there with them.
Come on.
Painful experience, right? You can see a loved one in a situation and you don't feel like there's anything that you can do to help. Painful situations. You can be in a situation where you think if you coulda, shoulda, woulda been there, it would have been better. Painful situation, right? The enemy is pelting us at that point, right? Because our mind is going crazy. Right? right? But that ain't God, is it? We were talking about peace earlier, wasn't we?
Yeah.
That ain't God causing our mind to be disturbed. That's the enemy going to work on us,
Yeah.
right? Making us feel a certain way, creating this pain in us, right? And so you come to church and you got this pain going on in your life, and somebody walk up to you and say, let me share with you. Honey, don't you know we seated on heavenly places on the right-hand side of God with all power?
Come on.
I'm hurting right now.
Yeah.
I know that positional principle. This is what Brother Jerry said. There is a positional principle that I understand. I got that.
Yes.
But there is a factual reality that's happening right now.
Come on. Right.
Don't try to give me a positional when I'm going through a reality right here.
Right. Come on now.
That ain't the way God worked it, is it?
No.
Again, I'm just taking it from the text. In the text, it didn't say that Barnabas and those fellows did any of that stuff when Paul was dragged out of the city. Now, I don't know about you, but a person being stoned to death, I mean, there's some marks. There's some blood.
Yeah.
There's some pain going on.
Yeah.
These people that was with him did what I seen today and what I know has happened to me. They didn't preach. They didn't pray. The text didn't say they prayed. You know what the text talks about? They surrounded him.
Wow.
They surrounded him and supported him. Huh? Ain't no whole lot of talking going on. Right now, we don't need no talking. We just need to surround you and support you. I love it because, you know, Pastor Jerry wrote, support, to keep someone or somebody upright or in position, to prevent something or somebody from falling.
Wow.
I don't need you to preach to me right now.
Right.
I need you to support me.
All right.
Keep me standing upright. Again, in the text, it doesn't say anything about a miracle. Don't say no angel came down or nothing. They just, listen, in verse 20. Howbeit, as the disciples stood around about him. Come on. He's laying on the ground, y'all, because they didn't drag him out the city. The disciples like form a circle around him to support him.
Come on.
Just a little imagination. Come on, Apostle, get on up.
Right.
Come on, Paul, you all right, get on up.
My God.
Support.
Might even just said, brother, we love you. We here for you.
See?
Huh? Still ain't heard nothing about no praying. Just letting you know I'm here for you.
Yes.
I don't have the right words. Huh? I have no magical words for you.
No.
I ain't even got no text to pull out the no scripture for you.
No scripture.
But what I do have is love for you.
Yeah.
What I do have is I can touch your shoulder. Ain't got no words. Don't know what to say in your situation. Ain't never been in your situation. But I can hug you.
Support.
Come on, say it again, D.
Support.
I can support you.
Yes.
Now, see, y'all did y'all read the rest of the text? See how far support will take you?
Come on.
Huh? Support can take you a long ways. See, we're looking for God to do miracles and to do things. And God said, baby, I put it in you. All I need you to do is support.
Yeah.
Huh? I didn't ask you to pray right now. I asked you to support.
Just support.
And your support is simply go up and give a hug. Your support might just be sit beside them. Don't say a word. Don't touch them. Just sit beside them. That's what my sister reminded me of, and it reminded me of the text. She said, do you remember that time when I was living on Hawthorne and I was going through hell? And I'm like, yeah. She said, you came to the house. And she said, you sat in the chair across from me and didn't say a word. You just sat there. And she said, peace rolled in on me and you walked out about an hour later. And she said, whoa, I feel so much better.
Come on now. Wow.
I just know I was going over it, but I got there and I didn't have nothing to say. Sometimes when we support people, we don't have to open our mouth. We don't have to do a whole bunch of chit-chatting and talking. Sometimes just our presence makes the difference.
That's right.
That's right.
Huh? Sometimes people come to church and us just rallying around them. We ain't going to say no prayer. That's why we're not praying right now. We ain't going to say no prayer. We're just going to rally around you.
Yeah.
We're just going to get around you and support you.
Yeah.
We might just touch you. We might just sit beside you. Do what Sister Charlene did. Just sit beside and give you a hug. I didn't see her talking. I just seen her with her arms around. Support goes a long ways. But it happens in unity. It happens in relationship.
Yes.
When I have a relationship with you, my relationship is close to you, that means I can come and sit beside you. Huh? Why? Because I do it when you ain't going through it, right? I just give you a call and say, how you doing today? How you feeling? I was just thinking about you. Huh? Just want to show you a little love. I ain't got much to say. Just called to say hello. Means a lot, don't it? We were talking about this morning. Sometimes, you know, people get it all messed up. It's like, well, they think they have a relationship. And it can be kids, it can be anybody. But they think they have a relationship, but they don't call you.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't come and see you.
Come on.
But when you do hear from them, it's can you?
See? Come on.
Will you?
Will you? Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
How many times have we done God like that?
I need you.
Yeah.
We say we're in relationship with Him. He says, but I want intimacy with you.
We won't get out.
All you want is relationship because you ain't touchy, feely. Because you want to be distant. And God said, I want to be close. God says, I want to be one with you as I was one with Jesus.
Come on.
Pastor Fryer, he had a glass of water
Okay.
and a pack of Kool-Aid. And he took the Kool-Aid and poured it in the water. And he asked, what just happened? The Kool-Aid changed colors.
Okay.
I mean, the water changed colors. Didn't it? And all of the Kool-Aid was mixed in with the water.
Water.
The kingdom is about us being mixed in with one another.
Yes.
Undistinguishable.
That's right.
When there was Kool-Aid, it was an individual pack. When there was water, it was an individual thing of water. But when we put them together, they became a unit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
No more individuality.
Yes. Yes. Come on. Okay.
Couldn't distinguish it no more.
Right.
So, I'm thinking about Paul. I'm thinking about the disciples that was around him. They understood oneness. They were together. So, I just want to see what happens when I support you. Huh? Sister Charlene said she felt good.
Yeah.
Huh? Is that what you said, Sister Charlene, in your testimony? You said it was a beautiful feeling, huh? Something wonderful happened, huh? Said, come not expecting anything. Just come to hang out. And God had somebody to touch me. Give me something unexpected.
All right now.
Huh? Again. Wasn't nobody praying for no miracle.
No.
Oh, sometimes we just be looking for miracles.
Yes.
God say, you are the miracle. What's your problem?
We do. I get it.
We be looking for God to do the miraculous.
A miracle. I'm a miracle.
And He will, if we operate in kingdom principles in unity. So it says, howbeit, as the disciples stood around about him, listen what it says. He rose up and came into the city. Now, somebody just help me.
You been
Because I ain't the best reader in the world.
okay.
Right.
My comprehension ain't always that great.
Okay.
But in what I read, Did you read anything about they prayed for him?
No.
Did they call down fire from heaven?
No.
Did they plead and beg for God for a miracle?
No. None of that. No. No.
The word said they surrounded him. Huh? What if we just surround somebody?